Welcome to the Weekly Mac. Today we focus on the topic of health. We have a nourishing chat with Chef Ada Parellada and the researcher at the Alicia Foundation, Laia Badal. Let's have a taste of music with the Slingshots. And it's time for training your wits and make you laugh with Guess What? Our quiz show presented by Sergi Cervera with Màrius Serra and Patricia Escalona. This is the Weekly Mac, your healthy show in English, hosted by Marcela Topor.
What is a healthy diet based on? In a few seconds, we'll be chatting about healthy food and hopefully learning a couple of things with a well-known chef and a researcher in nutrition. Check out our glossary for words that will come up in the interview.
We want to help you have a healthy diet today, so first things first, you'll have to eat lots of veggies. That's the informal way to refer to vegetables, the plants that you can cook and eat. Another must in your healthy diet should be pulses. Pulses are some seeds which can be cooked and eaten, for example peas, beans and lentils. Following a healthy diet doesn't mean you can have a treat sometimes or eat something special, like a delicacy. A delicacy is a rare or expensive food that is considered especially nice and pleasing to eat. A good diet could be a flexitarian one. If you consider yourself a flexitarian, you follow a mostly vegetarian diet while allowing meat and other animal products in moderation.
Ada Parellada has owned Semproniana restaurant in Barcelona for the last 26 years. She is a chef but also an educator who is concerned about healthy eating. And Laia Badal is a researcher specialized in food chemistry with a long career related to nutrition and health. She works in the innovation and development area at Alicia Foundation. Well, Ada, Laia, thank you for coming in the first place. And the first question is about your career. Why have you decided to dedicate your careers to food?
It's a question that I do myself every day, but actually I am a daughter of a long traditional family that has been cooks, chefs and restaurant owners. Since 1771, so 250 years of tradition, family tradition,
that's a
is
lot.
enough, and is enough
In Granollers?
reason. Yes, it's in Granollers. It's a very well-known restaurant and beds also. Traditional called Fonda Europa. I think this is the biggest reason for I decided to continue in this area.
What about yourself, Laia?
I think I'm a very curious person and I've always loved food. So I decided to study chemistry to, I think, better understand what happened around us, because chemistry is a degree that helps you to understand things. So then I finished specializing in food. So I think I closed the cycle of two passions, no? That was this curiosity for world and food.
Well, Alicia Foundation's motto is we work to make everyone eat better. What does eating better actually mean?
Well, for those who do not know, Alicia Foundation was the first research center in cuisine in the world. So this is important because it's here, it's located near Barcelona in Sant Fruitós de Bages, so it's an important center to visit, no? If you are interested in food. Mm-hmm. So as you said, our mission is work for everybody to eat better. I think we have it clear for us. Eating better means more sustainable, more healthier, and of course tastier, regardless your age or your living situation. So try to help people to eat like this.
Well, Ada, you are very concerned about the nutritive or nutritional aspect of food. Why is that?
I'm focused more in habits.
Okay, like healthy eating habits at home.
Yes, at least to eat together around the table for me is very important. To respect the time, the hours and the time to be in the table and to cook regularly. And now it's more important to pay attention to share the table instead of nutrition facts.
According to your latest book, no?
Yes.
Which is about cooking in a sustainable way,
Yes.
and you give also lots of tips in order
Yeah.
to avoid food waste,
Yeah.
right? So that's important. Can you give us some tips for that?
First of all, you have to organize like a professional kitchen. You plan the menus very carefully. That means that you plan the food. I mean,
You plan for the whole week ahead.
yes, it's very important. It's really important. Carefully with the technique that you are going to cook the products, and then you have to buy for this plan. And you will discover that you will back home after the shopping with very few food. Then when you arrive at home, it's very important to pre-cook. That means to cook your bases, because every day is very hard, is very busy. So you need.
So when can you do that? At the weekend, for example?
Yeah. You have to invest 2 hours in cooking.
All right, 2 hours every
Cooking.
weekend. I think that's a very good tip. What about yourself, Laia? What can you recommend us, or from Alicia Foundation, as a good tip to avoid food waste and healthy eating habits?
Well, I agree with Ada in that. We also make some workshops for restaurants and consumers. One idea for helping people to eat at home can be I don't know if you know about My Plate or El Método del Plato. Okay, so you have a dish, and then you fill half of the dish with veggies,
Okay.
1/4 with carbohydrates, and the other quarter with the protein.
Okay.
Like this, it's a very visual way to understand the proportions you are eating. Maybe you can mix it later. You don't always have to separate the three foods,
Yes.
the products, but it's an interesting way to learn the things we have to eat every day.
Okay, so half a plate veggies, a quarter protein, and the other quarter?
Carbs, that means pasta, rice,
That's
bread,
good.
whatever. Yeah.
Do you think that we eat too much meat nowadays? Too much
Yes.
meat, too much animal protein?
Well, yes, there are a lot of information about that, but we know that we are eating a lot of meat, and we cannot keep eating like this around the world, because other countries like China, that are starting eating meat, so we need to reduce the quantity of meat we eat a week. Sorry. There are a lot of movements also in related to that, as free Mondays, or meat-free Mondays that try lundi vert,
Yes.
that try to 1 day a week, not
Okay.
eating meat, not be vegetarian for a day, okay? Eating pulses or eating other things a day. This is a way to start.
It doesn't mean that you have to be vegetarian.
No, not at all.
It's nothing about it. It's that to put meat every day, or almost every day, but in less quantity.
Less quantity, no, and more quality, no. The day you eat it
Okay.
from
Does quality mean organic products?
From my point of view, I
Yeah.
think the first thing you should choose is locally grown, or kilometer zero, that we call
Okay,
here.
exactly.
Because when you eat local products, first of all, you are eating the things that are grown on your country, less footprint. You are helping your economy and your local farmers. So this
Yes.
it's very important. Not only thinking sustainability in environment, but also economically sustainability. This is very important.
That's it.
Yeah. Tell me one or two habits that we do, something that we do a lot, which we should stop doing, which should be banned from a sustainable point of view.
The thing that we have to stop is to improvise at home.
Okay.
We have to work. We must work hard to follow a plan. A plan is very important,
Okay.
because it's the way to throw less food. I mean, to reduce the waste.
Yeah, food waste, yeah.
The food waste. Sorry. and is the way to improve your nutrition diet.
And also save money, no?
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
And eating taster products, no? Because the products that are on season are always taster and affordable. Talking about habits, for ban something, it's maybe not the recommendation, but giving some advice, I think it's very important what Ada said at the beginning, sharing, and have a little more time to cook. Because there are a lot of papers that are actually appearing that says that, for instance, if you cook with your children when they are young, when you start cooking when in the childhood, at the end, when they will have better choices, they will understand better food. So it's an investment, no? It's easier to do it when they are.
Well, let me say something about it. If you want to cook an omelette with children, and you only have 4 eggs,
Yes.
don't cook with children, because if they have to break the egg, you know that more than
You're going to
more
lose
than
a
half,
few eggs on the floor, yeah.
So please not be patient, be in the good mood. Otherwise, it's very important that children see that you cook at home.
Okay.
Because they see the process.
I think that's an excellent piece of advice. We'll get back to that later. I think we are having not just a highly interesting but also a very useful chat about nutrition today. Health is an important topic, and we thought some vocabulary to describe injuries might be useful in case you're prone to accidents. So here it comes. Listen carefully to our teacher Helen Armstrong from International House Barcelona and her list of injuries.
Hi, today we're going to talk about injuries. So this is physical damage to our bodies. And lots of these words are both nouns and verbs, so you're going to learn loads of new words today. So the first one is wound, or a wound. So this is a cut or blow to the body which is caused by maybe a bullet or a knife, and you can be wounded in a car accident. It's when the skin is broken. Now a bruise, or to bruise yourself, a bruise is when you've hit yourself and your skin goes purple or blue. A burn, so you know the verb to burn, but a burn is the injury on your body afterwards, maybe from a fire or even from the sun. Now if you're very clumsy, you might bump your head, and the bump, or a bump, is the lump that appears after you've bumped yourself. So you have to put ice on it so the bump goes down. Now a sprain, or to sprain your ankle or your wrist, is when you twist your joints. It really hurts, okay? And this shouldn't be confused with strain, which is when you've overstretched your muscles or maybe even your eyes. Now something less serious is a scratch. So this is when you on rough or hard surface and you maybe see a little bit of blood. And a very less serious one is a nick, which is a tiny, tiny cut. Maybe you get it from shaving. Okay, so I'll leave it there, and I hope you avoid all injuries today. Bye.
What's the recipe for the perfect interview? Marc Broderick doesn't know, so he leaves it in the hands of fate. Don't miss our mystery question.
We are discussing healthy habits and food with the chef Ada Parellada and the nutrition expert Laia Badal. Now we'd like to have a glance at the healthy or not so healthy eating habits of celebrities with Malcolm Otero. Welcome.
Hello, thank you very much.
So I know you brought us some interesting stories about famous people who don't eat that well.
Well, among famous people, there are many examples of mistakes with food. We have the case of Marlon Brando, that in his late years, you know, a part of becoming the 2 Marlon Brandos, the size of 2 Marlon Brandos, he had a strange diet. Let me read my notes. 2 chickens a day, 300 grams of bacon, a big platter of chips, 2 apple pies, and his favorite dish, ice cream. Sometimes he changed his diet and only had 6 liters of ice cream a day. So there are big cities that eat less than that in a day. On the other side, we have Steve Jobs, who in 1977, he ate only fruit the whole year.
Really?
And
1 year?
Wow.
1 year, only fruit. And he was a vegan, as you know, but he was very fond of these detox diets, consisting of having just one kind of food for weeks. So the question is, because in the case of Brando, it's clearly a mental disorder. But in the case of Steve Jobs, I'm sure he read this somewhere and he thought he was a healthy...
Lie at me. He read something about it.
A healthy
that's
diet.
That's the big problem.
That's it. How to protect ourselves
From
this is the big
against
problem.
misinformation about what's a healthy
About the celebrities, Marlon Brando could eat this follow this terrible diet.
2 chickens a day.
But nobody knows it, or few people knows it. Nowadays we have a real problem because influencers could tell everybody.
Social networks or...
Yes, exactly. Social media.
Social medias, they transform in a guru, and lots of young people could follow these terrible diets, because for me, to eat 1 day only fruit is a good diet for a day.
For a day, but not for weeks.
But not for a year.
Or a whole year, yeah.
Linked to that, I have to admit that it's very difficult. I have to admit, because there is a lot of intrusiveness in that world. Because as I said, maybe because I think it's for me, I make a theory and people follows me, and this is very difficult. So from the scientific point of view, I'm scientific, so I have to explain you what you have to follow is only follow when you have evidence. To make a sentence, to say this works for that, you need to do clinical trials. Clinical trials that are tried on people and they have the results. So theoretically, you should only follow the things that have evidence. But I have to admit it's very, very difficult.
But the problem is that as much scientific evidence is, less interested.
Yeah.
And that's why they have much more.
And there are so many fashion victims when it comes to following these diets, no?
And science says always things matizan.
Hypotheses that are not very clear, because that happened. It's very difficult to say something exactly, because, because sometimes you try one product for a pathology or for whatever, but that doesn't mean for everything. No, it's very confusing. And I also have to admit that science also changed, because maybe in the 80s eggs were no, like they are killing you, are now. And now eggs are fantastic, and you can eat five a week. So science is always, no?
It's true.
Sometimes I say, look at me. Do you think I'm okay?
You look great.
I think I am como un tren.
You are
like a railway.
You are.
I say, you're gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gorgeous.
She is gorgeous.
You are.
Then it's when I say, the only evidence is that my nutrition way from my parents, it wasn't that bad.
No, because common sense, at the end, if you use common sense, and
common sense is not exciting.
If you use common sense and the products you have, as your parents did, no, the products they have, they could buy. At the end, it's more or less what they are going to work at. I think everybody knows what it's more or less healthy or not when they go to the supermarket. But our lifestyle, as we said before, brings us to say, I don't have time, so I will buy this because I will go faster. But
let me try this because it will make some magic, no?
Magic is the
word.
Go
faster and so on. But anyway, I think Malcolm, you've got more examples of people who are not that sensible.
I was also concerned about food education of our children. And there are a lot of anecdotes with famous people. For instance, Evelyn Waugh, the great writer, you know, after the Second World War in England, bananas were a rare delicacy. And he got some bananas, and he took them home, and they put some whipped cream, and he ate them all in front of the children. They were excited because they wanted to try bananas. But he said, never try what you're not going to get in the future. Another anecdote, it's Marlene Dietrich. She was very, very concerned about how her daughter was feeding, and on a regular basis, Marlene sent his daughter bottles of Dom Perignon champagne and cans of caviar. So apart of these two crazy examples, how much food education improved in recent years? I mean, has it improved?
Well, I think it's raising the awareness on that, no? That we need to teach children, maybe, because we are losing our cultural factor, that this is very important. Some years ago, the transmission between parents were easily. So it's raising. I think there are a lot of programs around the world. In England, the famous Jamie Oliver, no, but also talking about us, no, Ada is doing a lot of workshops on children. We have an interventional program that went through all Spain to teach directly with the children, and we evaluate their habits. And there are a lot of initiatives trying to motivate children. That I think it's one of the most important things. Try to motivate them, put them in contact with cuisine, with products. We have experienced that children that didn't know, you ask them to boil, they didn't know to cook spaghettis, and they put it on the pot directly without water. They didn't know.
I've done the same when I was a child. I mean,
because nobody told you, no?
Is the point. And I think we can teach a lot at the schools. Of course, we can teach a lot in the restaurants. We can teach a lot at home. But who has the key is the media.
The media.
The media. I mean, that is very important to make alliance with serious and
exactly. The media has an important role. And I think we have time for just last examples. If you got another one.
It's linked to what you were saying before. I mean, Karl Lagerfeld ate Coca-Cola Light all the time.
He drank Coca-Cola.
Scarlett Johansson, on a daily basis, she eats chicken wings.
Wow.
Axl Rose eats tons of M&Ms. By the way, dismissing the red ones. I don't know why.
All right. Well, that's
all
interesting.
these people, for instance, Marilyn Monroe, she had 2 raw eggs in the morning for breakfast, nothing for lunch, and she had like 1 protein and carrots for dinner all her life. So all these people are gorgeous, like you, and they have this great, splendid look. So how is it possible with this not exactly healthy diets?
I would say genetics.
Well,
I don't know what to
everybody
say.
is different. There is a genetic part. Also, the recommendations are general. You have to more or less follow them, but everybody is different. But do you really know exactly they are eating this? Because I'm not really sure. Maybe they say this for a day, and then stay 4 days for not eating another thing. So it's very difficult.
Well, Karl Lagerfeld is, I think, where did they get the information? That's the question. Karl Lagerfeld, all the people who working with him told that, and in case of Axl Rose, you know, a promoter, the people who's bringing stars to sing everywhere. The Barcelona one told me that they have to spend like 2,000 euros in M&Ms when Guns N' Roses was here.
The problem is that they are models. That's the problem for us.
Anyway, well, we are learning lots and lots today, and in the unlikely case that we are not, at least we can say is we're having fun, that's for sure. And now it's time for a short break, 3 minutes, and we'll be right back with our mystery question. Stay tuned.
Are you a fan of transports? Get on our guest show quiz today and prepare for a bumpy ride with Sergi Cervera, Patricia Escalona, and Màrius Serra.
Welcome back. Today we are lucky to learn how to eat in a healthy and enjoyable way with the chef Ada Parellada and the nutrition researcher Laia Badal. Malcolm Otero has just brought us examples of odd diets and habits followed by celebrities. And now it's time for our mystery question with Marc Broderick. Hello, Marc.
How's it going?
Great, and you?
Not too bad. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes?
Not sure.
Well,
We are afraid.
Just as I explained to you, you have to pick one of the balls, okay? Inside there's a question and I want you to answer the question. And while you're picking the balls, I'd like to say that I did home economics. We were talking about it earlier. I did it and I got an A in secondary school. They don't do it here.
Well done.
So I knew how to sew, I know how to cook and everything. So there you go. You made a good point.
Would you marry me?
Could I marry you? No, Malcolm.
I think
So
it's necessary.
grab a bowl.
Well, Marc, you're a catch. We all know that.
Yes, I know. There we go.
I'm going to say that I'm not going to answer personal questions.
You're not going to answer personal questions.
No.
You're in the right place.
That's part of the fun.
No, without my lawyer.
Not without your lawyer. You must have a pretty dark past. Have you been cooking some of your clients?
Relatives?
All right, open up and see. And you as well, open up and you can get a head start.
Okay.
She's the one under pressure. Miss Parellada, you're the one under pressure. And Malcolm, well done, Malcolm. Do we need to get your lawyers or not?
No.
No? Good, all right.
I'm happy for this question.
Go for it, read it out.
What were the worst holidays vacation you ever had? Of course, I remember a lot. My children had 4 and 2 years old, and we went to Amsterdam because we thought that it was a very child-style city, and it was like a nightmare because I was all time trying to save my children from death because it's like bikes, cars, traffic that you cannot, that you don't expect.
Okay, so very different from Barcelona.
You don't see. And then the water. It was like, wick.
The canal.
It was like very stressing.
Next time you can go with Marc because he knows Amsterdam quite well, I think.
I know it very well, yes.
You can be Ada's guide. Well, what about you, Laia? What about yourself? What question have you got?
Well, when was the last time your parents told you off and why? Do you think I usually do bad things or not?
I really don't
of
ask me
course
that
not.
question, but I imagine, yes, that maybe when you were a child, it's possible.
Well, not a child, but well, I have a son, 1 year old, and they are always holding me off, no? Because I'm making him crazy all the day, because I'm like, it doesn't seem that I'm a little bit crazy with him, so I always make him run or stress him a lot. So they are always telling me, stop, because
You stress out a 1-year-old.
well, you arrive and you start screaming, you start running, and he became crazy, so he's this.
Well, thank you for your answer. And finally, last but definitely not least, Malcolm.
Yeah, my life is the other way around. My children get me crazy. But well, let's read my question. Do you keep any teddy or toy from your childhood? What is it? Let me think. I think I don't.
You don't have a Cabbage Patch Kid?
No.
Or, I don't know, a baby dinosaur or something in your room?
Yeah, but not, I mean, I moved so many times that I think I lost everything from my past.
Oh my God.
What a shame.
What a shame.
Anyway, before we go, I'd like to ask Laia and Ada about the latest trends when it comes to nutrition, or an anecdote, Ada, in your case. Let's start with Laia.
Well, in Alicia, we also do research on these last trends. It's difficult because there are a lot of ways places to check, but the last trends, one is plant-based, because now we don't talk about vegetarians or vegans, we talk about plant-based products, restaurants, etc. So this is a trend, and interesting to being flexitarian. I don't know if you've ever heard.
Flexitarian, I love that word.
Yeah, do you know this word? It's reducing the consumption and make it only maybe the weekends, etc. Another is digestive wellness. All the world related to fermented foods, probiotics.
Kombucha and things like this.
Oh,
I love kombucha.
So you are on the trend.
I love kombucha. I have at least 2 a week.
And also it's growing a lot, what it's called snackification.
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 So we are due to our lifestyle, we are trying to eat in different moments of the day. So there are a lot of people trying to reproduce snacks, healthy snacks, to eat all along the day and not feel guilty.
We'll end up like dogs. That's what dogs eat, no? Snacks during the day. We'll all turn into like
for
pets.
example, fruit, vegetables.
Yeah, exactly. Or vegetable snacks, or
Something like that.
Yeah.
And Ada?
I don't have any real projects, but I really would like to make a Catalan traditional fast food.
Wow.
Yeah. Because
Interesting.
for me,
So many ideas. Go on, continue. Fideuà kebab. Butifarra dog instead of hot dog.
We have the Catalan kebab.
With the pam tomata,
It's called clocha.
Yeah,
It came from the bread.
yes, but with the sardine, with the sardine is very heavy.
We have it.
Capipota
The
with fried
clocha
potatoes.
is a typical in an area in Catalonia, in Terres de
For
l'Ebre,
example,
no?
Exactly.
croquetas de capipota.
Exactly.
There you go.
Well, I think that's a brilliant idea.
It is an awesome idea. Instead of McDonald's, you can have like McFont. Or something very Catalan.
Please, macparellada.
Macparellada, there you go. Macparellada, fast food.
Okay,
directly from home.
a great way to finish this interview. Thank you, Ada, and thank you, Lai, for coming. It's been great to have you here today. And Malcolm as well. See you soon, I hope. And Marc, don't go away too far because I'll see you in a bit with Matthew.
Okay, awesome.
Love is in the air, and today in Sitges as well. Stay tuned for the story of Brandon and Joan in Love in Translation.
It's time for Guess What? Nothing healthier than a bit of playing. And here comes our quiz show again as medicine against boredom. Let's say hello to other contestants. Patricia Escalona, Màrius Serra.
Hi.
Hello, both of you. And it's good to see that you're in good shape today.
Are we?
You look so. You look so at least.
Okay.
Well, and let's also welcome, of course, our favorite quizmaster, Sergi Cervera, who is renowned for his enthusiasm around the world, or at least around the block. Well, Sergi, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, thanks, Marcella. Those are the most beautiful words that someone has ever said to me. The second most beautiful, right after the blonde girl with the mustache who's smiling at you only wants an autograph. But that's for another time. That's a story for another time.
Okay, well, over to you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so if there is something that people in good shape don't talk about, that's health, right? So neither will we today. That's why I decided to dedicate today's show, and I love the way she looks at me, to travel and transportation.
That's
why
a surprise.
not? Yeah, that's a surprise. Of
Yeah, why
course.
not?
That's
Why not?
logic. That's
There is-
logic.
That's
What
logic.
is going on in your head?
Hell.
I'd like to know what happens there, really.
You do, absolutely. So let's get right down to it. And then we are gonna listen to the first of our 3 stories. There we go.
That's my sister. He can't come in Europe because he hates planes, and it's impossible to know another countries, for example, because planes is dangerous for her. 10 years ago, when we went to Belo Horizonte, my city, to Rio de Janeiro, yeah, he was completely almost crying, I could say.
So this man's sister is terrified of flying and begins to scream in terror on a plane to Rio. What did her brother, do? Let's see the options. Option A, he called the flight attendant and together they calmed her down. B, they gave them a couple of sleeping pills and a glass of vodka. And C, he started to laugh insanely because, frankly, there wasn't much else he could do.
How come there's no airport option? Do you remember that film when they
Airport,
start
the
queuing
first one, Airport 75.
they start queuing up, you know, to hit them, to hit the person who is in hysterics.
That's a great
I'd
option.
love that one.
Exactly, we go bam, boom, bam, boom, boom.
Yeah,
Patricia?
that's what I would choose to do, because, you know, alcohol.
Alcohol.
It's a
Always.
solution.
I choose B.
Alcohol is
I
a
choose B.
solution.
That's the message we're trying to achieve.
No,
Like,
no,
every
no,
time
no,
that
no.
you guys have a problem, alcohol is the solution.
Don't do it at home.
Don't do it at home.
We don't do it. All right, so what's your pick? B. B. Option B, and
Option
your B for you. So let's see what the right answer is.
Nothing, laughing all the time. I could help her because I talked with her and nothing solved the problem, and she was completely nervous. It's impossible to talk with her about that.
All right, so let's pay attention to the score because we have a 0 and we have another 0 for you both.
That's
Good.
double 0.
That's a double
great.
0. You need a 7 and then you're going to be a secret agent.
That's it.
All right.
Okay, anyway, are you guys afraid of flying or other means of transport?
No, I prefer flying than going into a great boat, for instance. I am afraid of seasick more than flying. Yeah.
How about you?
No, I used to for a while because there was like a little bump, a bumpy flight that I was in once. But no, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm okay.
Excellent.
Planes actually is the most safe way to transport.
This is what they say,
Yeah, that's what they say at least, exactly. Okay, so let's go and watch the following video.
So in Spain, we have usually a very funny situation because of my name. I decided to learn Spanish after that.
So we have a woman whose misunderstandings in airports with her name made her start taking Spanish lessons. But why? Why? What's her name? Let's see the options.
Let's see.
Option A, her Polish name is Ola. B, her Estonian name is Marika. And C, she's Finnish and her name is Casa.
Ola is nice, but
Ola,
I vote
Marika,
for
or Casa?
I vote for Marika.
Marika. She's Ola, she's Marika, or she's Casa?
Okay, the scriptwriter and I have to talk a little bit. Ola. I'm gonna go for Ola.
I'm gonna go for Ola. We have Ola and we have Marika. All right, let's see and hear what the right answer is.
Because my name is Ola in Polish, and in Spanish it's hello. Ola means hello, so it have both meaning. Hola, hello. So 2 in 1, yes.
All right, congratulations. Patricia's having 1 point and our beloved screenwriter is having a conversation with Patricia.
Well, that was a funny name. What's the strangest or funniest names you've ever heard?
Well, one of my friends called Andres was once in Scotland making a guide, a tourist guide with some people, and when they asked for his name, he said Andres. And all,
Andres!
And all, and all the women said, now?
That's a good one. That's quite funny, actually.
All right.
A Brazilian friend of mine is called Caroline, but apparently a shortening of Caroline or Carolina in Brazil is caca, which in Spanish or Catalan means poo. So it's like, what? Really?
We love names.
Nice one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So now for the last travel experience, pay attention to these 2 Liverpool guys.
When we're on the train, we're walking through, and the person behind us, the door closed in their head.
So he gets off the train and the door closes right after him and traps the person behind. But why? Why did the doors close? Option A, the train had started to leave. Option B, he pushed the button that closed the door because the person behind was his boss. And C, someone had pulled the emergency stop and he wasn't supposed to get off the train.
I would say that C is the most normal one, but you never know here. Because the boss, you've got a lot of imagination. Now, I choose C.
C. You choose C? C.
C.
And you choose?
C as well.
Hola, C. Let's watch.
Because he pressed the button. As we were exiting, we pressed the button and it jammed somebody's head. It was my boss at work. It was funny.
What was funny is the way he was saying that was funny.
He had to be an Scouser, though.
Yeah,
That's the kind of thing they would think.
The boss was the boss, yeah.
All right.
And now I'm sorry, but I have to ask you this. I know it can be tricky, but what's your strangest or trickiest experience on a train?
No. Remember that we are on
refuse to
television.
answer that question.
We are on television.
I refuse to answer that question.
On TV.
Straight up.
On
Like,
TV.
yeah, go.
No,
On TV, yeah.
No, I usually go by plane.
Okay. Well, and now before we go to the next step, let's see the score, which is 0 for the moment for Màrius. I'm sorry. Well, it will improve. I mean, it will get better, I'm sure. And 1 point for Patricia.
I can't go worse.
You guys are not far away from each
let's
other.
be positive.
That's the positive thing, exactly. So now, get your bells ready because it's time for the ding-ding part of our quiz, the speed challenge. If last day we were after titles with numbers, today we test you about books or films in which means of transport have an important role. Boats, planes, trains, cars, etc. Here's the deal. We'll read a clue and you ring your bell and get it right.
Or
Deal?
Or not.
Or not.
Or wrong.
Can also
I'm
happen.
offering the deal.
Okay, well,
Okay.
let's start.
Let's go.
The first one. Hercule Poirot on a train.
Oh God, that's. I mean, even for me as a quizmaster, it's impossible to say.
We can share it.
You can share it exactly.
I can say the first part and you can finish it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Murder in...
In Orient Express.
1 point for both.
Okay.
Correct. Absolutely.
Murder on the Orient Express, exactly.
So the troubles of Captain Nemo. If you get it right,
Again?
point for both.
You start?
You share it.
1001. No?
It's a number, it's a figure, but it's not this figure.
She starts and you finish.
That's
better.
20,000.
You know,
Dalmatians.
I was thinking about but it's in submarine
20,000 leagues.
leagues in
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
But we know that you know it. We know that you know it, so point for both. Point for both.
Marcella's also happy about it.
Well, we continue. A castaway on an island. A castaway on an island.
Patricia.
Robinson Crusoe?
Correct.
Exactly.
Point for Patricia. Next, a fisherman created by Ernest Hemingway. Màrius. By Ernest Hemingway. A fisherman created by Ernest Hemingway. You have to translate it.
The Old Man in the Sea?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Point to
Very good.
Màrius.
All right. A car that flies and floats with Dick Van Dyke.
Patricia.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Point to
Chitty Chitty
Patricia.
Bang Bang, exactly.
Exactly. Next, Robert De Niro in a taxi. Màrius.
Taxi driver.
Absolutely.
Very
That looks like
good.
it had been rehearsed.
Houston, we have a problem.
Patricia.
Apollo 13.
Amazing.
Exactly.
And right. Point to Patricia. Russell Crowe in a nautical novel.
Oh.
Go.
It was, official and...
You are
Master?
going...
Master and commander.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Point to Màrius. Very well.
An Uruguayan rugby team in the Andes.
Patricia.
One word.
I know.
You can say...
Live, viven.
Bien. Yes.
Alive.
Right.
Exactly.
It's alive.
Alive.
Viven.
Sorry.
But Viven is right as well.
Viven is the original.
Is the original.
In fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So point to
1
Patricia.
point for
Yeah.
An iceberg sank this ship. Point for both of you start.
Titanic.
Point for both.
My God,
Very well.
Tom Cruise piloting warplanes.
Patricia.
Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Point to Patricia.
Excellent.
And Pirates and Ghosts in the Caribbean. Patricia.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Absolutely.
So let's see the score.
She's so fast.
Exciting. That was exciting.
Cover everything.
The score is, you can check in your screen, Patricia is leading with 10 points and Màrius is right after with 6 points. Wow, there we go.
But I like this collaboration of,
That was nice.
Yeah,
that
like
was
sharing it. Yeah.
Well, it's not ready because we have another round for you.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. We have a set of short questions about facts related to means of transport. So, ready?
It's a bit different. So the first situation. Which noisy, okay, I said noisy action does the Chinese traffic regulation recommend when you want to overtake other cars?
Honking?
Absolutely. It recommends blowing the horn to warn other drivers, which explains why lots of drivers don't use rear mirrors. Oh.
Funnily enough. The second one? Well, considering Gibraltar's size, what does the runway cross at Gibraltar Airport?
Pardon? What's the question? Oh.
What does the runway cross at Gibraltar Airport?
A street? A road?
A public road,
a street road, absolutely. It is blocked whenever a plane lands or takes off.
I've been there, that's why.
It's unique, no, in the whole world. It's the only one, actually.
Next,
where is the highest railway in the world?
Màrius.
I would say in the Andes, but I don't remember the country. Maybe it's Chile.
Cold.
Yeah,
cold? It's not in the Andes?
It's not there. It's not there.
Okay.
But I'm sure there is a high one over there.
Yeah, I've been there.
Patricia, any idea?
The cloud.
Think about a high mountain.
How mountain? So Nepal or Tibet?
Tibet. That's right.
There you go.
That's right. In Himalayas, it's called
I just don't know what happened right here. I missed it all.
And the last one. Which is the longest international road in the world?
Pan-Americana?
Pan-American Highway. It goes 30,000 kilometers from Alaska to the Patagonia.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you are not even, but you are close. Patricia is leading with 12 points and Màrius is going right after with 8 points. And now for the last challenge, we will see how many points will the winner get in this final challenge. We will see right now. So you guys can, to discover how many points you will get, you can uncover this. But hold on. Before doing that, just have one of those fishing rods as a hint.
Can I just say that there's people thinking about this the whole week and they get paid for it?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Something's
you
wrong
can't
in
imagine.
this world. Okay.
That's
so
not a winner attitude, Patricia, I might say.
So I think they can uncover the surprise.
Yes.
No?
So there you go.
My God.
Alive. So you guys will have 3 seconds to fish as many ducks as you can.
3 seconds to fish?
Yeah, 3 seconds, yeah. And every duck is worth a certain number of points, which you will get if you win the last challenge. So if you fish more than one, then you have more opportunities. 30 seconds starting now.
My God.
I'm about to start swearing very loudly.
We're not paying attention right now, Marcella and I. We're just using this spare time. So you won?
Am I done?
Leave it here. No, of course not. You still have a few seconds. Your table full. Well, there we go. Fun. All right. 2. Patricia is extremely passionate about what she's doing right now. And time's up!
1 second. Last minute.
Very last minute. Time's up. All right.
When you're fishing, you're fishing.
When you're fishing, you're fishing. That's commitment.
When you're fishing, Moby Dick.
That's what I call enthusiasm.
That's enthusiasm.
That's what I call
That's Moby Duck.
Mobile duck.
Oh my God.
All right, okay, don't check the numbers yet and get ready. Get ready for the next challenge. So today in our challenge of clues, you will have to guess the name of a famous traveler or explorer.
This traveler is a real man and he's dead. His travels are recorded in the Book of the Marvels of the World.
Patricia?
Lawrence of Arabia?
Not exactly.
Marco Polo.
Ah, mira.
Yes,
Yes!
exactly.
Marvels of the world.
That's correct. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yes.
I was going to say that he traveled along the Silk Road, that he was born in the Middle Ages, and that he was from Venice, among other things, Sergi.
And Marius just got right now how many points? I hope it's not 1 point.
Last week,
exactly.
two,
At least you will have 2
two.
points.
But
You
I
have-
need, how many I need?
Now it's time for you to
Exactly.
uncover,
It's time to check the final score. Please look under the ducks
and you will have a number.
I
and
look
tell us
first.
the points you see.
Oh. And for our audiences,
Wow.
an
Turn the
S,
5
an
around.
S.
7
and 5, 12 points for Marius. Unbelievable.
But the final score is...
The final score is
Patricia 12 points.
and Marius
and-
20.
Exactly. Well, congratulations, Marius.
Points.
The ducks brought you good luck today.
Well, yeah. Fishing is not one of my favorite activities, but
Now
You
it is.
never know, you never know.
Exactly, you never know.
Until you try. And now it's time for Guess Word by Màrius Serra here, our winner today. Marius, so what was the clue for
last week it was the most nourishing unit of length. It was a 4-letter word. Any idea?
I've been trying to crack it, but I
Meter,
haven't been able.
kilometer? No.
Patricia?
Yeah.
Should
But you
I
can
enunciate
say.
it?
Yeah.
Food?
Food.
Food.
Yeah, that's it, because you've got a difference between T or D at the end, between food and foot, but
food.
they are both
there you
very
go.
near phonetically, so that was the exact answer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, and for next week, Marius, what's the hint?
Next week will be very like a show like this. It's to you.
No idea what you were talking about. What show?
What show? Great shows for short-sighted people. 10 letters word.
Great show.
Great shows for short-sighted people. 10 letters.
Okay, great shows for short-sighted people. 10-letter word, but can we really believe that it's 10 word, not like the last time? Exactly. Can we take your word for it?
Yeah. I can say it can be solved with 10 letters.
All right, well, we'll take your word for it then, and let's see if you can solve the guess word at home. And when you do, please post your solution on our social media profile. We have to say goodbye to Marius today. Thank you so much, and congratulations, Patricia. Thank you. Until next time, and of course, thank you, Sergi. And it's been lovely to share this amazing show, and with fishing included this week.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for having me, Marcella.
Let's take a break now, after which we'll enjoy some good music with the slingshots and our Love in Translation section. Just 3 minutes and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Here at the Weekly Mag, we love to explore the Catalan's links with other countries. Brennan Jones from Wales and Joan met in Catalonia and now live in Sitges. And guess what? They've been together for almost 40 years. Well, let's watch their story in the following Love in Translation.
Hi, my name is Juan.
Hi, my name is Brandon, and we live together in Sitges, and we've been together now for 38 years. It's a long time. I was a Scotch whisky exporter, and I was on my first trip to Barcelona, and I decided to stay over until the Saturday, so I had Friday evening off. And I was having a glass of wine in a bar near the cathedral, and I saw this young man looking at me. And so on the way out, I went up to him and asked him if he could recommend any good restaurants to me.
And I recommended some restaurants in Barcelona.
We actually went to Los Caracoles. I don't know if you know Los Caracoles. Very touristy, but very old as well, with lots of character.
And the Pla de la Garza too.
Pla de la Garza. I was living in Scotland at the time, and Joan was living in Barcelona, and I remember getting a letter from him after we first met. So I'll pass you over to Joan.
We meet in 23 January, and 14 February was the first Valentine's Day. It's not exactly the Lovers' Day here in Catalonia, but it was in England, no? And the tradition is to send a letter or a postcard with no signature, no? And I remember I make the same, Brandon je t'aime.
Brandon je t'aime. Because when we met, my Spanish wasn't that good, my French was very good. Joan's English wasn't that good, so we communicated in French.
Yes, true.
I came from a Britain which is dull and dreary and wet, and there were strikes and strikes and strikes of the coal miners and people. And here in Catalonia, Franco had died, so here people were really proud of their culture, really proud of their languages. So that really gave me a big opening, an eye awakening to Catalan culture, and I really enjoyed it. It was vibrant.
Is to be more polite with the people, to say more thank you, please, and pardon, because in general here the people is very kind, but it's not very polite. In England perhaps it's not so kind, but they are very, very polite.
And I suppose the main thing was speaking Catalan. But the other thing which in terms of traditions and customs was a collection of caganets.
For me, tea. I don't like tea at all. I love coffee.
The couple of things that I'm not comfortable with are people shouting all the time, particularly in television programs when you have the tertulians, you know. So that I don't like that. And the other thing is on the road, politeness on the road, and sometimes here people, the cars move from one side to the next without indicating, and sometimes you get people who throw cigarettes out of the window. So it's and also when people are at a zebra crossing in Britain, we always stop. In here, you're very lucky if a car stops. It's taking a long time. I didn't get any presents, I'm sure. A small bottle of whiskey and a
silver ball.
Silver ball.
Pero era papel de plata, no era. Sorry.
Yes? Oh, that's terrible. Johnny Walker. I don't even like the whiskey. We got that one right.
First mistake.
The first mistake in 38 years. No, it wasn't.
Stay tuned for our Home from Home section. Today we discover the narrow streets of Mataró with Siru from Finland. Don't miss it!
Their powerful live shows are a reference of Barcelona's music scene. The band that visits us today are celebrating their 10th anniversary. 10 years of black music, soul, funk and more. They are the Slingshots, and their second album, Spread the Mud, connects with their audience perfectly. Well, we've got here Roger. Should I call you Roger Cavalier or Roger full of soul? Full of soul.
Depending what, you know, if I want to find a job someday, look for me as Roger Cavalier better. Because if you look for me and you see that singer going all crazy.
You mean like a real job?
Like a real job, yeah, paying job. I prefer people not to know I'm named Roger Full of Soul, because if they look for that, they're going to go, this crazy dude, I'm not going to hire this guy. But in music, I'm Roger Full of Soul, yeah, so far.
You are the voice and guitar of the Slingshots, and your latest project, latest album is called Spread the Mud. Interesting name for an album. Why this name?
Well, first of all, I'm not the guitar player normally. I will be playing guitar today as a premiere, but I'm normally not.
That's an honor.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. It's going to be fun. But we normally have a guitar player, but he couldn't make it today.
Actually, you're 8 in the band.
We're 8 in the band.
That's quite a lot.
Exactly, yeah.
Quite a crowd.
Yeah, it's hard to move a band with eight people inside of it. So we're going to be 5 today. So we'll do a different version of the Slingshots. But anyways, yeah, this album, Spread the Mud. Well, this album is almost a year old now, I would say.
We've got it here as well.
Yep, there you go. This is our latest release. And it's 10 songs, basically funk soul all the way. It's all our own songs. And yeah, there's different styles in it. There's poppier stuff, more dirty stuff as well. Maybe just one ballad, I would say. And we're pretty happy with it, yeah.
What does the mud represent in this case? And you just said dirty, but I know that is just a metaphor for something else.
Exactly, exactly. So the mud, as you said, the mud is dirty because we like to keep it dirty all the time, and we don't want to lose that innocence, you know. Although people get old, but you have to somehow manage to keep your innocence.
So we could say that you guys are not very politically correct. Is that true?
I don't know. People will have to judge that. But in any case, we like to keep it dirty. And spread the mud means spread the music, spread the funk music. Because in fact, we always laughed about this thing, and we joked about it, that in Catalan, when people refer to funk music, they actually say fang. M'agrada molt la música fang. You know, I like funk
which
music.
in Catalan means
Mud. So we called our music mud. Plus, it's black music, what we do mainly, so we thought it was interesting. So spread the mud, spread the funk, spread the music, spread the funk. So
spread the word, spread the music.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly. Well, nice play upon words, all in English.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is very interesting to see an album like that in Catalonia, in English, with Catalan musicians. So tell me about your relationship with English. Why do you guys do music in English?
Why do we do music in English? Well, that's a good question. Well, I was...
Ain't no fool, what you need, spread the mud, get no peace, funky foxes and cats, and so on.
Yeah,
it's pretty, I must say,
a lot of slang in there as well.
Interesting names.
Funky concepts, funky concepts. The thing is that I was born and raised in Montreal, Canada. So I came here when I was 11, the first time. And so I did all my schooling in French, basically. But over there in Montreal, as you know, we're also bilingual, so we had French and English. And at home, I spoke Catalan because my parents are both Catalan. And then I got to speak Spanish with Spanish friends and Latin from Latin America.
So how many languages do you speak? Like at least 5?
Well, 4 and 5 because there's Italian, which I speak. I'm quite there with Italian too. But 4, I was lucky enough to have those 4 right away. You know, just because I was getting those 4 when I was a child, and so that's the reason I became a singer, I guess, because when I came here with English, it was, hey man, yeah, we need somebody who sings well in English. So that was a perfect excuse. But I also used to sing always. Since a young age, I was singing all the time, and I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be an artist.
The Slingshots, as they say, critics and yourselves, I think you will agree with me that it's a band in the most romantic sense. What does it mean?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And it's something that I'm thinking of it. I mean, I'm thinking of it all the time because everybody goes to us like, how can you guys exist? You know, how can a band of 8 dudes, you know, keep on living? Because it's hard to get shows when you're 8. The easy format in music, if you want to do a living in music, you need to be 4 guys, 3 guys, or girls, I mean, but lesser people because there's never enough money for that many people. So people who are basically professional, they will not stay in a band like Slingshots unless they see something more romantic in it. You know, it's their project and they want to be in it and we're buddies, but it's not the money really because you won't get that much money out of Slingshots. You're going to get money doing whatever, you know, playing with 4 people, doing covers, being in a cover band, orchestras, stuff like that. But this is a real band. This is a real band. We do our stuff, and it's hard.
Okay, so I see that you guys mean romantic in the idealistic way, no?
Well, we wanna stay there. We want to do our music, and we've been doing that for 10 years now. We basically started as a cover band, but after 3 years, we decided we definitely wanted to do our music, and we ended up doing our shows all our own songs. We once did that, you know, at some point, not a single cover. And that's hard to do because the covers work.
In 10 years, indeed. That's a long time. By the way, congratulations for these 10 years. How would you say your music has evolved in time, in a decade? From the beginning, do you still maintain this rock and roll spirit, attitude?
I think we do, but inevitably, I mean, we're older, we're 10 years older.
Wiser?
Wiser, 10 years wiser.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes, hopefully, yes. And well, we still have to see what's gonna happen because we're not working actually on our 3rd album because this is actually our 2nd album, but we're gonna see what happens. I mean, maybe our best album is yet to come. We don't know yet. And the
Let's hope so.
I hope so too. And the evolution we'll see, but we want to keep it on the funkier side, soul, but there's room for everything, psychedelic music as well, expression, you know, and feeling what you do and believing in it. So,
how would you say the music in English works here in Catalonia?
The music in English, well, there's this tendency, there's always been, of bands singing in English, which I am not a big fan of that because it's interesting that when you sing in English, that it is in the appropriate language for you to express yourself. And some bands, I like what they do in English. Some others, I think, you know, maybe you should do this in Spanish or Catalan because it would be a lot more authentic. You know, it doesn't make it authentic sometimes. But there's people who have it, I mean, who do it well. But others, I'm just like, damn it, I like what you do, I like the idea, I love what you do, but the words in English, the lyrics in English, does it really make sense? Plus, there's a lot to do here. I mean, Catalan is a great territory to explore, exactly. And you know, you could do something really cool in Catalan. I could too, but I'm not.
Are you going to explore the Catalan territory a lot this summer? Lots of gigs coming up?
Well, there are gigs, but I never remember the gigs. I don't bring a list with me.
That means you've got a lot.
We do have gigs, not that many. We would like to have more. But as I told you, it's hard for a band of 8 guys, girls, whatever, 8 people. It's hard to get that many concerts because it has to do a lot with what you ask. You know, I mean, if you play free, you can play. If you play for just a few bucks, well, you can play. But the thing is, there's professionals in the band, and only for respect of that. And also what we do, even if I'm not fully professional, things cost something, you know, and there's 9 of us there.
What can we expect from one of your gigs, a live gig, a live concert?
Well, I think you're going to see a real band that's doing their stuff, their music, and you're going to see energy. And I hope that you see something good, because I can't really tell you. You know, you have to decide. You have to be free to decide if this is what you like or not. We will do as much as we can so that you have a funky good time.
We'll keep an open-minded. And today, what are you going to play for us?
Well, we're going to play actually the first song of our first album. It's called Is This Soul? And as I told you, I'm going to be playing guitar. I never played guitar before in this band. It's the first time ever.
Well, it sounds very exciting. Thank you, Roger, for coming today, and good luck with your gigs.
Thank you for having
summer.
us. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
While the slingshots prepare on stage, let's watch our second language tip of today. Are you as fit as a fiddle, or on the contrary, in a bad shape? Well, either way, it will be very useful to learn some idioms about health conditions. So pay attention to Tim Warry's lesson.
Welcome back. So today we've got some expressions to do with health. The first one's a really positive one, and it's to be in the prime of one's life. This just means that you're in the best physical condition of your entire life. Maybe in your 20s and your 30s, you can say you're in the prime of your life. You definitely don't have any spare tires. If you have a spare tire, it means you have an extra roll of fat around your middle, like you're wearing a bike tire or a car tire around the middle. Maybe you end up with a spare tire because you're very lazy, you don't do any exercise, you spend all day lying on the sofa. And sometimes, you know, when you fall asleep on the sofa, you fall asleep on your arm, that feeling you get in your arm when it's all tingly, feels like there's pins and needles digging into it. We can say you have pins and needles. Some people like this sensation. Me personally, I don't. Another one is to feel off color, or to be off color. This just means that you're not feeling very well, that you're feeling sick. Sometimes you can see it in someone's faces, where the color drains out of them, they're very white, very pale, because they're not feeling good. And sometimes when we get ill, things can take a turn for the worse. This just means that they get worse, okay? You feel more and more ill. And if you get more and more and more ill, sometimes you might even kick the bucket. And this is just one of many expressions we have in English, which means to die. And maybe before you kick the bucket, you might need to go under the knife. This means to have an operation, to go into hospital for surgery. It might be for something serious, it might even be for plastic surgery. But let's finish on a positive note. The last one is to be as fit as a fiddle. And this just means that you're very fit and very healthy and in great condition. So those are expressions to do with health. Give them a try this week.
You know, pop is way too poppy. The blues is just too bluesy. You know, funk is way too funny. So, come on now. I just had a revelation. Hope I don't need too much persuasion. I'm gonna end the frustration and take you to your destination. Hit me one time. Come on.
Today in our Home from Home section, we visit Mataró hand in hand with Siru Lane from Finland. She's been living in Barcelona for 5 years now and she enjoys running away from the big city every time she can. Together with a language exchange friend, she's discovered many corners around Catalonia, among them the tiny streets of the city center in Mataró. Don't miss the next video.
This is the city center of Mataró, and my name is Siru Lane. First I came here about 3.5 years ago for an Esperanto Congress, and I didn't get to see much of the city, but I really liked what I saw, and then I decided to come back. And I've been giving some lectures or presentations at the language school here. And I also have a language exchange friend who doesn't live in Barcelona, so we meet here because it's more or less in the middle. I think it was his idea to meet here the first time, and then it was just such an easy place to meet, and we both like it, so it was a natural option. So I usually take the train. It's nice. I usually try to sit on that side of the train so that I can see the sea and the beaches, and that's also something I'm looking forward to every time I come here, to see the views from the train. It's just different atmosphere than in Barcelona, for example. Yeah, there are not that many people, and it's so calm and peaceful. And there are similar places in Barcelona, but it's always full of people, and here I find it easier to think and just to enjoy what I'm seeing. We went to see a church, and it was nice because it was empty, so it was just me and my language exchange friend, and we were just able to sit and look around without having to hurry or having to worry about other people. And I also really liked the Christmas market just before Christmas. It made me really happy to come here and see that, to experience that. And also the little markets with the fresh fruit and fish. It's refreshing to see that. Sometimes when we see like different kinds of fish or different kinds of mushrooms, my language exchange friend is teaching me those words in Catalan, and then I'm teaching them in English, but sometimes I don't know the words because I've never seen these things before. I like to walk around because it's so nice and the people are friendly, and I like the little streets, and just the atmosphere is great.
As you know, plural nouns in English can have a different pronunciation of the S. Sometimes it can be voiced, sometimes it can be unvoiced. So if you want to pronounce it correctly, don't miss the following language tip with Tim Guinea from International House, Barcelona.
Hi, today I want to help you get perfect pronunciation, and we're looking at the plural S. And I'm sure you already know how to write it. You either add an S or an ES at the end of the words, but the actual pronunciation, there are 3 different pronunciations of plurals, and they are S, a Z sound, so Z, and we have an IS sound as well. So today I'm going to show you all 3, and let's start with the difference between S and Z. S is unvoiced, so we don't use our vocal cords to make the sound. So imagine the word cats. And then we've got a voiced sound, so we do use our vocal cords. And if you put your fingers here on your throat and you say the word like dogs, you'll hear this Z, and you'll feel the vibration in there. Okay, well that's great, but how do you know when to use them? Well, it's about the sound that they follow. So if they follow a voiced sound, then they're going to be voiced. And if they follow an unvoiced sound, they're going to be unvoiced. For example, let's go back to cat. It's an unvoiced sound. You don't have any vibration when you say cat. You use your mouth and your teeth, and we're talking about those kind of unvoiced sounds, often known as plosives as well. So we've got things like rap, or cat, or pack, or path, or cuff. We just add an S sound at the end. So we've got raps, cats, packs, paths, and cuffs. Now let's move on to voiced sounds. Well, I said to you before, dog, dog. You need to vibrate and use your vocal cords to say a G, and that's why we add a Z sound, because it's a lot easier to pronounce. So we've got dogs, we've also got hands, we've got vowels, and we've got smiles. So you can see on the screen we've got a list of voiced sounds there. And then finally, we've got the plural ES. And this comes after the words like X, CH, SH, and SS. And the pronunciation is. So we've got things like watches, or washes, or waxes. And finally, my last tip for you is to remember the golden rule. Put your fingers to your throat and think voiced or unvoiced, and remember that's the big difference between dogs and cats. See ya.
There are people who care a lot about their health and who intend to live to 100 years. Some others don't care at all. Well, does it have anything to do with different countries' culture? Let's explore how health is seen here and there with our two collaborators, Matthew Tree and Marc Broderick. Matthew and Marc, hello.
Hi. Hi there.
So how often do you guys exercise? Do you do a lot of sport? You like sport?
Don't look at me, please. No, what I do is I've been doing this for the last 10, 15 years. I walk a lot and fast.
That's good.
Which
They say it's very healthy.
Doctors say it's the best exercise, but I was about 40 when I realized I ought to start doing something about my health. So I went to the local fitness center. And I got all dressed up because I thought, you know, you have to go with the right gear. So I got like a special t-shirt, shorts, sort of sports shoes and stuff like that. And I just did it all wrong. The shorts were far too long. They came almost down to my knees. The t-shirt was too big. The sports shoes I had on were also, you know, I looked like a sort of duck walking in there. And then I went through this whole thing with a monitor, you know, with these cycle machines and a thing called a rowing machine. And then I went to have a shower, and I was surrounded by all these 18-year-old, really good-looking guys, really fit, you know, with huge muscles, naked, all talking about their bodies and their exercise, and I just I felt so out of place. When I left there, I just went to the nearest bar and drank 3 beers, you know, to get over the fitness center experience.
Okay.
That image of you in the shower will be forever burned in my mind.
Yes. Well, it certainly is in mine, I tell you.
Well, I get it. It never happened again, no?
No, I've never been back to one of those places. Never. Well, it's sometimes to go to the restaurant. that's all, yeah.
Well, I have actually the opposite version of that story, because now it's coming into my mind that I did join a gym here a few years ago, and I had the opposite feeling. I went in there, and I used to go in the morning times, and it was full of old people doing aqua gym. So in fact, when I walked into the washrooms, it was full of old men, 65 plus, walking around. So I didn't exactly have the same view as you did, something opposite. But I did a lot of mountain biking as well when I first arrived here. Yeah. I got really into I get obsessed about things, but like fits and bursts. And it's like sometimes I'll do something for like 2 or 3 months, like a lot, and then I won't do anything. At the moment, I'm in a hibernation phase. I'm not doing anything at the moment. But the mountain biking was great because I used to hang out with all these older guys. Actually, all my sport revolves around older guys. Maybe there's something to be said about that.
Neighbors?
Neighbors, etc. But the older guys always had families, and they would all come out biking with me. I thought it was a way of them kind of escaping their family life for the weekend, you know? Yeah, I think so, yeah. They always used to, well, bike bike up into and have drinks and stuff like that. So it wasn't really exercising.
Anyway, what about what about Ireland and the UK? We all know it rains a lot. The weather is not like here. So does the rain stop you from getting out and practicing a sport?
No, but it has changed a lot since I was there. I mean, I'll tell very briefly. When I was growing up, we all did GAA sports. It was part of the curriculum. Hurling and football, which I talked about last season.
Maybe we should explain what it is, GAA sports.
Hurling,
traditional Irish
sports. And it didn't matter whether it was rain, hail, thunderstorms. I remember playing matches and there was like a gale force wind where you would kick the ball and the ball would go like this. It didn't matter. But nowadays it's kind of changed. They still have the GAA, people still could participate in team sports, but the big thing now in Ireland is going to the gym. Everybody's walking around, they look like thumbs. They've got these massive thick necks, these big arms, and anybody who has a gym membership has fitness on the end of their Instagram account. Marc Broderick, fitness. And all they do is put up like Instagram photos of themselves with their muscles like this. And people running with coffee mugs. I've seen this in Galway last time I was home, running and it's raining and they have a coffee mug in one hand and a dumbbell in the other. And all I think to myself, man, they must have serious accidents of like broken jaws and like burns on their legs. I don't know. How do you run with a coffee and a dumbbell?
What a nightmare.
Yeah,
Everyone doing.
They're trying to optimize their time out.
The last place I lived in, a CrossFit centre started up right next to it. We had like it was divided into two parts. So the building where I lived was sandwiched by this bloody CrossFit place. And like it was terrible because part of the CrossFit exercise is that they send people out running in all weathers. So like, you know, you're walking home, you know, sort of quietly thinking about your own stuff and suddenly 6 or 7 people start running towards you, you know. It's more dangerous than cyclists.
And they have things attached to them. Have you ever seen this? They actually buy things to attach to them. Yeah, they put things around their ankles to make their ankles heavier. They're carrying things. I don't know. Have you
like weights and stuff.
Weights, and they're tying them to themselves. They look like Christmas trees running around.
Well,
heart attacks by the time they're 50. Jesus.
I know you visited the coast again.
I did. I love the coast. I went to Tossa de Mar, one of my favorite places in the Costa Brava. It's actually only my 3rd time there, and I was really, you know, I asked them about health, obviously, you know, to start with, and obviously I was extremely worried about, you know, some enemies of health such as alcohol, smoking, and of course my particular enemy, which is work.
Sounds interesting. Let's find out.
Ready? Having a healthy... No, because we're not. The health of your mind, your body and your soul are so important, but there are 2 things that are certain in this life. One is taxes and the other is death. And here we are in Tossa de Mar. And also there's a 3rd uncertainty, whether or not I'm able to finish this bloody introduction. Let's go talk to these people and find out. Okay, question number 1. I'm joking. How do you take care of your brain? What kind of things do you do to exercise your brain or your mental health?
Not a hell of a lot. I read quite a bit of useless junk on the internet all the time. That's about it.
I would say run, fitness, walking, yoga gives peace.
Yoga.
You do yoga.
I walk, run, sport.
I can just turn off.
You can turn off your brain?
Yeah, easy. I've got 5 kids.
What kind of things do you do that affect your brain that you shouldn't do?
Probably drinking too much, I would say. Drinking too much. Work.
Yeah, weird sex, probably. Can that go on TV? No.
Yes, it can.
I was a banker, yeah.
And how does that affect, like, negatively your mental health?
Well, you're sat down in one space all of your life and you get no physical exercise and there's a lot of mental stress.
What kind of things do you do to take care of your body?
God, absolutely nothing.
Nothing?
No, really, no.
And how are you? You look quite fit. I mean, you must do something.
Drink and smoke.
So Welsh people don't actually take care of your bodies very
I'm sure
much.
plenty of Welsh people do. I just don't happen to be one of them.
Nothing.
Okay.
Terrible.
CrossFit, yeah, I mean, that's sort of, you know, lifting kettlebells and using your own body weight to exercise.
Zumba classes. Boxing's very good. I took it up because I worked in the alcohol industry and a competitor lady took a lot of my business, so I took it up to think of her every time I was boxing.
Nothing.
And how do you maintain this wonderful body, Paco? What happens?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is it magic? You wake up in the morning and it's
Yeah.
like... No, because you have
Yeah.
big arms, huh?
No,
You-
I don't think so.
It's all that clicking of the mouse.
It's a jacket. It's a jacket.
It's the jacket, not the bomber jacket.
Yeah.
Clicking on the mouse, that helps you be in a good shape.
Bigger biceps. I'm sure a lot of people who work in the IT industry would argue with you on that one. Going like this all the time.
Are people in Ireland and the UK very concerned about their looks, about skin products and so on?
Well, we're a white, pasty bunch of race of people, and we get more burned by the wind than by the sun, you know. And we do love to get a nice color and look well, and we do have lots of beauty products. But our idea of looking better is using very low cream on your skin and letting the sun give you a nice red hue. Would be how I would put it.
Yes, I get that red hue from time to time. No, in London, I remember very well, it was in the 1970s that the first magazine specifically for men's appearance started to be published. You know, magazines which told men and men only about cosmetic products that they could use, about tricks for making their hair look nicer and stuff like that. And it started off mainly as a kind of gay thing. It was basically gay men who bought the magazines, and then it became more common. But-
Metrosexual.
yeah, there you go. That's
There you
the
go.
word.
I'm up on the
metrosexual.
lingo.
Yeah. But I personally, I don't know what people do here, but I do know from having been on different televisions from time to time, the makeup women always tell me the same story, which is that they can tell immediately when a man is using masculine skin cream, because the quality of their skin is much better than men who don't.
Oh, I should definitely ask our makeup artist if my skin fits
Do you
that.
use a lot of skin products and creams and so on?
Who, me? No, I use deodorant. That's about it. Deodorant and aftershave.
You don't use this cream that is from the snail slime, which is really popular. I used it for a long.
Snail slime.
I swear to God,
Well,
I used this cream.
that was
It's
quite
from
popular, no? At a
snail
certain
slime.
point.
Yeah, about a couple of years ago. But I remember touching it was like a baby's bottom. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Kind of a slightly oily, but now I've moved on to something else.
Okay, now we know
more-
the secret of your glowing skin.
Exactly, snail slime.
What have you moved on to?
What? Now I've moved on to cheaper products because that cost me an arm and a leg for a bloody snail. It was like, my God, it's so expensive. But yeah, I moved on to something a little bit cheaper. It's this blue aqua cream thing. So I don't know. What do you think? Looking younger?
Glowing skin.
Glowing.
Beautiful, gorgeous. Anyway, now let's switch on to
Insects.
healthy and unhealthy habits.
Well, yeah, actually, there are so many things that I can't eat because of various health problems that I have. So that makes it very easy. I can't eat pizzas. At the moment, I can't eat any red meat. I can't drink red wine. I stopped beer a long time ago and so forth. And I walk between 6 and 12 kilometers a day.
That's
I
good.
do that.
Do you have a no-fun diet?
I have a no-fun diet, no.
Literally, what do you eat? Do you mind me asking?
Yeah,
Like
for lunch,
vegetables?
I've now discovered how to do it. You can buy these Swedish crackers, which are very thin.
From IKEA?
And no, any supermarket, Marc.
Okay.
In at least here in Catalonia, they're called Wassa. It's a famous
Wassa,
Swedish
okay.
make, and I buy those, and I put a little cream cheese on them, processed cheese, and that's my lunch. That's it.
That's your lunch.
That's it.
Right. May I ask why this cheese and those crackers, whatever? Why have you like them? You've got a particular taste for them, or just because it's easy? Or
No, I used to have them. I used to eat them when I was a kid, and I spotted them in the supermarket, and I thought, oh, I wonder if I can remember if the taste of that when I was a kid.
see.
And then I discovered that the Philadelphia people who produce mass-processed cheese have a version with salmon flavor in it. So I just put that on top of
and
these.
that's your
It's
lunch.
delicious. That's
and
my lunch.
Does your doctor know?
I haven't told him yet.
He knows now.
Your GP.
If he speaks English,
Your
he knows now.
GP? Yeah, I don't know what he would say about that.
Well, I'm not planning on telling him, no.
We mentioned people who would like to live 100 years before. Do you guys belong to this group of people?
Matthew, you're already 3/4 of the way there.
That's an ongoing. Jesus Christ.
No, I'll tell you what. I don't think I'd like to live that long. I don't know. I mean, I mean, in Ireland, in my particular line of the family, they all lived till like 90 something. I mean, they all smoked,
Really?
they all drank, they all ate whatever they wanted. But I mean, I don't envisage myself as a 95-year-old man. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not sure. I mean, I'd have to start really consciously thinking about what I was eating now, taking care of myself. But as you heard in the last section, it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, it's genetics. That's what'll decide whether we live that long or not. So I don't know. I'll just cross my fingers and hope for the best.
Any case, I'm sure you've asked the people in Tossa de Mar about that, haven't you?
Yeah, you could say that I asked them about that.
Knowing
you know,
you, I think you
my
have.
little obsession with death is coming up next.
Well, I don't know. I'm afraid to watch, but I think we need to. So, okay, let's see what Marc asked them and what they answered.
Now you have 30 minutes left before you die. What do you do?
Oh, God. I don't know. See how quickly I could get drunk.
What about your future wife-to-be?
I forgot about that. You threw me on the question.
Drink. A lot.
Even with your wife?
Yeah, I don't care. I don't want to know that I'm dying, so I'm just gonna drink.
You cherish your loved ones?
I think he'd have a strong drink.
You can do the two.
I would have to get all my kids by me.
I've never done a skydive, so maybe that would be quite a good thing to do before I die.
Jump from like an helicopter or something.
Watch the last 30 minutes of Game of Thrones.
Have some of that weird sex with this beautiful woman over there.
I'm going to drink a beer.
What about your wife?
I don't know.
L'amour.
L'amour.
Ah, you would make love. So you would drink a beer and she would make love.
After a beer. After. Beer after.
Very good, very good. Okay.
Well, I see that the subject of death worries you quite a lot. Or is
It
that an
fascinates
understatement?
Me. It fascinates me. It doesn't
Exactly.
worry me. And also, it fascinated me that if you had 30 minutes left to live, the only thing that people could think about was getting drunk. I mean, there's something wrong with people if that's all they would do in their last 30 minutes. Matthew, I know I'm going to throw a curveball at you here, but imagine I said to you, Matthew, in 30 minutes you're going to die. What would you do?
I know what I would do. I know exactly what I would do.
Come on, tell me.
I would invite all the people that I know I'm going to miss very much.
Yes?
To a glass of cava with me.
So me and Marcella.
Among others.
Included.
Very good
Okay.
answer. Very good answer. And you,
yourself?
and you, Marcella? Come on,
You first.
Don't try and deflect
You
it onto
first.
me. If I had 30 minutes left, I would drop everything. I would run like Forrest Gump through the streets of Barcelona to give my son one last kiss. That sounds very ñoñi, what you say in Catalan, but you know what? That's where I would have to spend it with my
Ñoñi.
son.
What is
I don't know how you
ñoñi
say
in
like
English?
tacky or no,
Like
it's kind of
daft.
like cute. No, what's the word? I learned that word here,
Tacky,
and I
daft.
don't even know the word in English, to be honest.
Cheesy.
Cheesy, that's the word. Cheesy.
Cheesy.
I would, but I wouldn't take a taxi. I would run, and I would arrive just at the moment I was about to die, and he would be the last person I saw. That was it. That would be it.
What should we do anyway? How should we change our habits in order to have a longer and more healthy life?
I think that we're told this, before they were talking about like we're told all the time what we should and shouldn't do. 1 minute we have to eat less carbohydrates, another minute we have to eat less fats, then we have to put in proteins, and then it seems that every week there's a new fad or a new diet coming out. I think balance. I think that you should just balance everything out. You know, have your cigarette, have your beer, have your potatoes, have your little bit of exercise. Like as I said before, most of my family who lived to a long time, they were relaxed people. They didn't have a lot of stress in their lives, which I think is a big killer. And also they learned how to balance all of these things that we say we should get rid of. So that would be my Marc's philosophical, well not really.
And I have to say that I totally agree with you.
Little bit of balance.
Yeah, I would say the same.
That's
like, not
very
worry
sensible.
about it so much. Not worry about your health all the time, because that can also become a kind of obsession, you know?
Yeah, and avoid stress, of course, because stress is one of the worst things in our lives. Okay, and I think it's time for the third and last video, which
Yeah.
is about...
Well, Marcello, I don't know, Marcella, have you ever thought about how you're going to die, or how you would like to die, or Matthew, how you would like to die? But I will ask you after this video.
Are you trying to
because
cheer us up today?
because I think that people should think about death, and they should talk about it in a very open way, because we're all going to die at the end of the day anyway. So I mean, like, what would be the best way to go? Or what would be the worst way to go? So I think I'm going to ask these guys, or how they would like to go.
Fun.
Fun, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, today you're a bit obsessed about this. I mean, you're very worried, I think, about this subject, and you've asked them something specific, maybe?
What would be the strangest way or the worst way that they could die, I suppose, would be...
Well, okay. I guess we have no choice.
No, you have to watch.
Watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take it with a pinch of salt.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
What would be the worst way for you to die?
Swimming and by being bitten by a snake, and then don't die by the bite of the snake, but die because you're drowning.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Taking a selfie and like walking backwards and then falling. I'd say a fire, actually.
Fire?
Yeah, don't you think so?
Yeah, that would be terrible, actually, to be burned to death, no?
That's why they did that to ancient martyrs, didn't they? They burnt them. That's really horrible.
We could say, well done, Jill. Sorry, that was really dark.
Burned.
Like medium rare.
Yep.
Like a steak.
Well, I think a messy accident.
If you had to write an epitaph after that happened, what would the epitaph say?
My life ended messy, just like I was.
He was here for a short time, but he had a good time.
I did it my way.
She tried very hard. I'm a baker, so maybe something like that. I was baked, I don't know. I got baked myself.
I got baked myself. I love it. The epitaph of the burn victim. Danny, there was a fucking defibrillator here. You could have saved my life. Useless. I think I'm going to go and haunt Marcella and Matthew.
Well, Marc, I can see you've been quite haunted about this subject, but what would you like your epitaph to say?
My epitaph would say, "Here lies Marc Broderick, lover of Matthew."
I'm not sure how to.
Okay.
I'm not sure how
Can
to
we move on?
interpret this.
Can we just move on a bit, Marcella?
Yeah. Let's move on, Marc. That's been quite provocative.
Of course.
But
Is there
tell us
anything
about other epitaphs.
Other epitaphs. Well, I've done a little bit of research, and I've looked into these like curious facts about strange epitaphs. So, do you know Groucho Marx's famous epitaph?
Please don't stand up, something like that. Please don't get up.
You're very close. Well done. Yeah. It's like, okay, excuse me, I can't stand up.
That's right.
He mentioned it, but his gravestone has no epitaph, so you're wrong. He did say it, but it's not written on his epitaph.
Okay,
Sorry,
so that's
I had
a myth. Yeah.
These are other epitaphs, okay? So Mel Blanc, do you know this guy? No. He was the voice of like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, etc. What do you think his epitaph says? Matthew?
Guessing.
Yes.
That's all, folks.
Well done. And the next one, I think, this one is the funniest, okay? We finally found a place to park in Georgetown. Georgetown is in Washington, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The good thing is about epitaphs, okay, is that they can be loving ones or they can be some sort of like an ironic complaint, okay? Some sort of like complaining about that person that died, no? Like, so here's another one.
Or even funny
It could be funny.
Did
So
you know that, sorry, by the way,
Yeah.
in Romania there's a cemetery called the Màrius Cemetery, and all the epitaphs are funny or supposed to be funny, and they are like a summary of the dead person. So it's like an open-air museum, visited by lots of people, lots of people coming there just to read these epitaphs, which, you know, it's a unique thing in the world.
The
Màrius Cemetery.
The Màrius Cemetery.
Exactly.
Oh my God,
Check
that
it
would
out.
be hilarious.
Is that
I would
in
love to go to
Bucharest?
that.
That's in the north,
In the
in
north.
Maramureș, in
Okay.
Săpânța, a very small village. Yeah, well, rather unusual.
Yeah.
Rather unusual, yeah.
Absolutely.
The Merry Cemetery.
Merry Cemetery. So
Okay,
the next
so
one
you
we
were
have
saying-
is kind of a little bit ironic, so to speak. Okay, this one says, in memory of Ellen Shannon, aged 26 years, who was fatally burnt on March 21st, 1870 by the explosion of a lamp filled with R.E. Danforth's non-explosive burning fluid. So basically,
I don't know what to make of that.
The poor girl was fatally burned by something that allegedly shouldn't have burned her. That was, excuse me, non-explosive.
Okay, so that was supposed to be
That was supposed to be funny and ironic, and the next one is a little bit resentful. Somebody who you would put in the ground and say, okay, this guy didn't really live a fulfilled life, so let's give him one. So it says, one clue, there's an acrostic with the initials. If you look at the initials, his name was John McLeod McCaffrey, and the dead's ex-wife and his mistress are said to have ordered this stone together, okay? And the engraver didn't realize until it was made, okay? If you look, you can see along the side exactly what it says. Can I say it? Fuck you, I believe it's...
Seriously?
Yeah, they wrote the tombstone, said that all of the letters would line up perfectly like this and say, fuck you.
So he a much-loved person.
He was a much-loved person, exactly.
All right, I don't know what to make of that, like Matthew said before. It's a great way of concluding this section and this program, Mark. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah,
We're talking about health, and I don't know, we came to talk about death.
Death. Well, I know what I want on my gravestone, if I have a gravestone.
Go on, tell us.
Which is, this comes from a song by a English singer-songwriter called Will Valley. He has a fabulous song called A King for a King, which is all about the life of one man. Okay. And the refrain at the end is, we all just drop in for a while.
Ah, that's nice.
And I think that would be a really nice thing to have on your gravestone. We all just drop in for a while.
Very nice.
Okay, well, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matthew.
You're
It's
welcome.
been very interesting. Interesting, yeah.
Absolutely. Death is always interesting.
Exactly, death. I never thought we were going to talk about this subject, but
There
anyway,
you go. We got
thank
to talk about everything.
Until next week.
Yes.
We say goodbye until next week. Until then, catch up with all the episodes and sections online and follow us on our social networks. And don't forget to post the solution to the guess word puzzle by Màrius Serra, which is great shows for short-sighted people, 10 letters only this time. Have a nice week and keep your English up and running.